So it's only been about 3 weeks since we've launched. And normally we wouldn't do an update quite as quickly as this.
Yeah.
But you have decided to take some holiday.
I'm abandoning my post, mate, for 2 weeks.
I mean, there are people out there that want to play this, right?
I know.
And you're just going, no, I'm off.
I feel bad. I do. I feel guilty.
I might dox you. He's going to be in the Italian lakes. Okay, mate.
Don't fuck. Don't do that.
That's the end of your piece.
I'm going to be larging it up in the Italian lakes whilst all these people are like, oh, give us new content. Give us new content.
Yeah. Well, you'll be taking it in, right? It'll be the Italian lake edition update next time.
Johnny's going to be there going like, the game's broken. You've introduced all these dreadful crash bugs into the game, and people's save games have been deleted, and you're just off fucking wasting time out by the lake somewhere, aren't you?
We all need to reflect.
Yeah.
But I think you've earned it. Actually,
do you think so?
Because I do. Because even though it's only been 3 weeks, it's gone really well.
It's gone great, hasn't it? God, the launch went well, didn't it?
It did go well. And I think probably the biggest question that we had from a game perspective was, how interested are people going to be in building and engineering their ships? That was the question. And I had a theory and you had a theory. And I think that's been answered now.
Yeah. Yeah, the interest is there. We can say that safely, I think. People want to play this game, and people want to create ships, edit their own ships, whether it be in a gameplay context of like being in a shipyard and paying money to have your ship upgraded, or whether it be in the editor context of just like creatively making your own ship, even though you're not really playing the game. I think the answer is an emphatic yes to both.
And we can have a look at some.
Let's do that.
The last Starship.
This is the last Starship's playtest page, and if we scroll down here, look at all this stuff.
Look at this stuff.
Look at this shit. Look at all this community content already. There's not even that many people that are playing this game at the moment. Like it's because it's obviously through the Steam playtest system. We're controlling the numbers quite carefully, but we're just seeing a flood of ships that people have designed. Look at this thing. Scruffy's capital ship.
Yes.
Doesn't that just look bloody brilliant?
Yes, it does. And I mean, I know it's trivial, right? But even like the vents are working. We spent so long on getting those vents to work. Yeah, that was so boring. Hours of you and Johnny banging on about geometry. It's like, I'm so bored. And then now it's. Oh, look at that! What a great screenshot! It was all worth it,
wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. This one, I think, says the very maneuverable crusher from Johnny Struggles. So it's like just a stack of engines all down one side, stacks of maneuvering thrusters, and then all the guns are right here in the middle, facing forward. This thing is probably a nightmare to fight against.
Yeah.
Because I bet you can never catch it, Yeah, it's
crazy. I like
crazy.
that circular one as well. That's the other thing that...
This one.
Obviously,
Johnny Struggles again, yeah.
Oh, Johnny Struggles is a legend. Look at that.
This thing's just like, I don't know what it is. This is like a sort of scavenger, expandable shit. Whoever built this has just glued boxes on at the edge, haven't they, over and over again,
I've got a real hankering to play old video games at the moment. I don't know why, just separate kind of thing. And I really want to play Alien Breed with my kids. And that previous ship, just reminded me of Alien Breed. So could somebody please do the entire Alien Breed map in Last Starship? I'll give you something.
I'm sure they will.
I don't know what it will. Well, give me a cease and desist from Team 17.
This one as well. Look at this. The RMS cordless drill. Well, we know we're going to get a load of silly designs, right? And this is just one of them. But it's actually a functional design in the game right now. I love the fact that the engines are actually where the exhaust ports would be on the drill, and there's a pokey laser at the front where the drill bit would be.
Yeah, sticking out.
I mean, when I see them, I want to load them up in game. I get because we just haven't seen them much. We're stuck in our own world, so we have our own ship designs that we keep using over and over again for testing. And then we just don't get to play around with these things. Like this idea here, Voxel's design for the Agamemnon giant mining and transport vessel, you know. Like, so these are external mining lasers. So that this idea is that this thing just approaches an asteroid, you know, so the asteroid enters this work zone, you know, and then gets zapped from all sides by lasers. And these are all the drone bays, you know. Like, this isn't a finished ship, I don't think, because there's no crew and there's no functioning reactors or anything. So he's probably built this in the editor.
The other thing is, you know what I could say about that? I could say that ship is heavily inspired by the engineers from Darwinia, right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm just turning my head. I'm turning my head 90 degrees to the left, which is in turn inspired by Tron.
Exactly. But possibly, I can't quite read it. What is it? What's his name?
Voxel.
Voxel. Possibly Voxel hasn't seen Tron. Could you imagine? You know, because that happens from the 80s, you know.
Yeah. They think they've been inspired by the collectors in Darwinia, but actually they don't realise there's a deeper level of inspiration.
Deeper source.
But then if you went back to the people that created Tron and asked them, they would tell you that those collectors had come from Space Invaders, right? Because they're the falling aliens that just come down the screen during Space Invaders, aren't they? Boop,
right.
Boop, 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 you know, that whole thing. So it's just like a chain of inspiration, isn't it? I've got some of them in game. Should we have a look at them?
Yeah.
Let's fire some of these up.
Because one of the things to say about this is our aspiration is not just for you to be able to create ships like this, but that actually they are tested against a purpose, you know, and the purpose is the mission system. And
that's right. Yeah.
At the moment,
it's not just a ship builder for its own sake. These ships are actually functional devices and colonies in their own right that are designed to perform a certain role.
And we absolutely lag behind at the moment on a mission that would in any way test a ship of this nature, right?
Yeah.
This is the balance is way off. So don't think that, you know, you're going to get this.
The game content is not really there yet that would require a ship of this scale. And also the performance of the game can't really keep up at the moment because we just haven't done those rounds of optimization. We haven't had ships this size before, you know. And this has got 60 crew on board. It's called the Invictus, and it's created by Mensler. Very cool design, though. I mean, I love how sleek it is, you know. And I love this as well. Like, these are all the drone bays up here, all launching into this like central launch tube. You know, emerging out the front. I love the way that he's nestled all of these gun turrets into. This is a curved surface with gun turrets built in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. And this comes back to one of the reasons why early access works so well for us, because we can see that ship and that helps us to think, right, what kind of fiendishly difficult procedurally generated situation do we need to put that ship into to test it? You know, what's the counter for that? Because
people go mad, right? I mean, this ship is 100% armored, right, which makes it very slow, but it doesn't matter because it's armed to the teeth. I mean, you remember in the last video we did combat against that what was it called? Hostile armored beast, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of these things, right? And it was like a really intricate, complex, difficult battle, wasn't it? So if we do the same thing, so this is from Johnny Struggles. It's just called Battle Cruiser or something like that, right? So the exchange of fire that immediately occurs between us and them up front. See, because we're 100% armored, it's very hard to damage this ship, you know.
Yeah.
He says as the front maneuvering thrusters take critical damage.
But that's good though. That's what, you know, that means the balance is there in part. I'm not going to say we've definitely done it.
Here we go. I mean, look at this. That battle cruiser is getting absolutely destroyed. There you go. The battle's over. That was it. You know, we spent 15 minutes during battling that ship in our last combat vessel. You know, so this player has obviously gone way past that point. I mean, I think that we were hoping that players would, weren't we? I mean, I think that you in particular, you were worried that people were going to bang out after an hour and say like, "There's nothing here in this game." You know, there isn't the content. There isn't the capability of the game to support anything beyond the initial hour. And then, you know, we load stuff like that up. And it's like, there is.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Absolutely. Now, one of the things that we've put in a few updates, we've not had very long, so there's not a load in. But obviously, we've got to build a community, right? We've started off really well, but we've got to keep going. We've got to keep growing. And one of the things that...
Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but look at the fucking size of that. This has got 300 crew.
Look at the size of that thing.
Well, this looks to me like some of the prison architect prisons, you know, big maps.
Yeah,
loads
absolutely.
of different zones.
Absolutely.
We just don't have any save games of this sort of size in our test roster until now.
See, that was one of your key things, right? You kept saying to me, it's not Prison Architect. I'm not making it like Prison Architect. I'm not having a colony sim. We're not going to have huge ships. Yeah. And I just thought in the background, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
I was wrong.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Now, what I was saying, trying to build this community. I know, you know, the ships are great. But we've got to get the word out there. And I think no better way of getting the word out there than putting out in the world these ships. Now, obviously, they're on Steam, but we've added in a little Twitter shortcut, haven't we? So that people can tweet their creations.
So at any point, really because people have been sharing so much, it's obviously something that people want to do.
Yeah.
So you can go to the main menu now and click on this button, tweet my Starship. All right. Let's click on that bad boy. All right. Now it immediately pops up a Twitter, a pre-made tweet, and a picture of your ship is in the clipboard.
Nice.
So I can press that, right? Control V or Command V, depending on your platform of choice, and there is my Starship, and I can say, "This is a test tweet." Boom. Right, and there you go. I've just tweeted our Starship. Pretty cool, right?
There we
go. The picture that was grabbed, right? So it's not quite as 100% smooth as we would like yet, but it's getting there. I mean, I think that we want to have different ways of supporting, sharing what people have done, don't we? You know, like just being able to copy a picture of your ship to the clipboard and then share it by whatever social network you happen to favour is a pretty cool feature.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to help. So last time we did a deep dive into combat, didn't we? We showed some combat and how that's going to work within the game. But it's very important that, and I think we got the message out there that this is not a combat game. You know, our aspiration here is to build a world. You know, we want to build a world, and we want there to be loads of different types of missions and things that you can do. Combat is one element of that. Yeah. But there'll be other elements that you can play through, right? And we're not going to be prescriptive, I don't think, on how you play this game. So, and a lot of that's coming in the future. You know, we're building the structure for how this game is going to work, and we've not done all of it.
Yeah, the different sorts of contracts and the different sorts of equipment and the different types of vessels that you can build. At the moment, it's a bit homogenous. We haven't really got to the point of specialization yet. You know, there's so much that we kind of have planned for that, but you know, it all just takes time. It takes a really long time to do this stuff. But I think we're both quite clear that we don't just want to make some sort of battleship smashing war game. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because there's plenty of those around.
And when you say it'll take a long time, yes, it will. But that's part of the joy of the early access process, right? Once you've bought the game from us, we promise that we'll never charge anybody for any updates. So it just gets better and better and better. And, you know, players can dive in early on and do things now, or they can wait a bit and dive in when we're a little bit further down down the line.
I mean, I think that we're in playtest. We're not even in early access.
No, that's right.
Which has been very clear to people. And I think that we still think of the equipment that's available in game as kind of the first tier of equipment, don't we? You know, those are the words we often use to describe it. Like, this is the simple equipment, you know?
Yes.
These engines are simple. You get fuel in and power in, and you get thrust out. You know, but we have to start there, right? That tier one has to exist, and the same is true of the missions. You know, the missions at the moment, the contracts in game are all kind of like, go here and do this. Yeah. But our plans are bigger than that. It's just that you know, we have to do things in a certain order, and we're only a small team, so it takes us a little while.
And there's holidays that need to be taken.
And those Italian lakes aren't going to fucking visit themselves, are they?
They're not going to view themselves, no.
You know, historically, you know, I actually get quite a lot done on holidays. You know, the more annoying my children are, the more work I get done. Strangely,
I know you do tend to come back with some breakthroughs sometimes, which is
sometimes
always,
sometimes I think it depends.
It's always nice.
You're just going to have to make sure the holiday goes very badly, and then I'll probably be very productive. Probably the best possible holiday from the last Starship's point of view would be me trapped at Heathrow Airport for 2 weeks.
That's
Do you know
right.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
I'll probably get tons done.
yeah, over in the corner, just plugged in.
See
Right.
what
So
you can
what are
do.
we looking at? We're going to look at.
Let's do some. Let's do some mining missions, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. So this is a save game that I've loaded. So this is my. I've been playing the game with this ship for quite a while now, actually.
This is one of your ships, is it? Not,
this one.
not
These are both mine.
Yeah.
And so this vessel started out as a bit of a mining vessel with mining lasers at the front and some docking ports and some defences. But I kind of thought to myself, mining is a bit specific actually, because it uses an absolute ton of power. So when your mining lasers are all firing, all the power of your ship is diverted to the mining lasers, which kind of means that you're a bit limited, because a ship like this that's got 30 crew and a lot of life support and a lot of industrial processes like these smelters and drone bays and all this science stuff that we're doing, that all uses power as well. So you're kind of fighting over the same resources, you know. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, I built this second ship. And this vessel, this ugly beast, is really only designed for scraping minerals off asteroid belts.
See, this is the absolute point of this, right? Because if you can build generic ships that do everything well, then the game breaks down, I think.
You have less interesting problems to solve, don't you?
Part of creating this world where you have to have different ships that do different things very well but are vulnerable is key to creativity and new ships and keeping people engaged, right? So that to me sounds like you've absolutely got that.
Yeah, well, this is a much better mining ship than the main ship, because it's only got 5 crew, and to be honest, that's about 3 too many. And it has very minimal life support as a result. And most of its central core is this bank of reactors, all of which have been diverted into this mining laser array at the front. So it's designed to sit sort of below an asteroid belt around this position, and just to scratch away at it. It doesn't do any of the collection, it doesn't do any of the industry or anything. And it's designed to be quite small and cheap as well. So if we ever had the facility to go to a shipyard and construct a copy of this ship, then I could have 2 of them, right? And then this is designed to be quite a minimal vessel as well. Like there's no space on board, you know. It doesn't have any capacity to carry passengers or anything like that. Like it's only got 8 cabins on board. If we go to our contracts list, you can see I've already got some missions to extract asteroid resources, and some quite big amounts of money being offered to pay. If you look at the map, there's this location here. You see that there is actually an asteroid belt visible in the sector map. Yeah. And that area there has our 3 asteroid mining missions tagged. We can actually look in the contracts board and see if there's anything else. These missions here, you see these little blue diamonds? This is one of the little usability things that I've added since. This indicates that this mission occurs at a location that we're planning to go to. Right, so it's a mission that's
we are planning to go to, or we're not?
We are planning to go to. So it knows that we're going to go here because we've got 3 existing missions. These 3 missions, like deliver cargo, this mission, deliver cargo to a nearby star system, happens to be going to the exact same location as those asteroid missions go to. Okay. So we may as well accept it. And we may as well accept these ones too. There's no dangerous missions. So we'll take all of those. We'll just wait for that delivery. We've picked up a timed delivery mission, so we'll have to get on that. Let's set a course. And
I don't think we've shown 2 ships yet.
I think in the very first video we happened to have 2 ships. Do you remember I did that pull out, and it was like, and this is what happens if you've been playing for 10 hours. You know?
That was good, wasn't it? Yeah. It's almost if we planned that.
Yeah, it happened spontaneously. I love the effect. When you have 2 ships, you have this lovely effect of like buffeting through hyperspace that I really like, even though it's like the placeholder exterior art and everything. I still think it looks really cool. Like I want to see the screen with 10 ships. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
But probably not a lot more than 10, I think.
I don't know.
I think well,
I don't know, because this is the kind of vessel that is mass producible. So I could see a future where you start dealing in large numbers of these things and they're quite throwawayable, you know, if that makes sense. Right, let's just...
all unresolved questions, right? Are we going to have fleets of 10 ships or fleets of 100 ships? Who knows? Who knows where we're going to end up?
Don't know, do we? So I'm just going to turn in that delivery mission because it's on a timer.
Get paid for that.
Got some better artwork for our docking ports now. There's a bunch of new artworks gone in. We've done quite a lot of work on usability as well. Like we watched people like Quill18 did a playtest of our game, and he got stuck in a lot of places because he didn't understand what things were. So we've done things like added tooltips to every object, so you can identify what things are just by looking at them. Because he was looking at things in the Starship and had no idea what he was looking at. And we've extended that concept to the trade screen as well. So when you highlight objects in the trade screen, you get this tooltip on the right that tells you what it is and what it does. You know,
they're just little. A large part of our time at the moment is talking about this onboarding, isn't it? And these small things. I don't want a tutorial in this game. Maybe we'll put one in, but these small things just mean that people can understand it. And Quill was fantastic to watch because he externalizes everything he's thinking.
I know,
so,
it's brilliant, isn't it? Streamers are amazing playtesters because they just talk continuously while they're playing. You know, and we get so much information from watching that.
So if you're a streamer and you want to get in on the next big thing, then just hit us up and we'll sort out the key. You know, no dramas.
Yeah. So I'm just maneuvering my mining vessel into its best position, which is about.
So
here.
What is that there? That is
that is an asteroid with Tillium ore on board.
Tillium.
Yeah, and Tillium is one of the precursor resources needed to make FTL fuel.
You made that up, didn't you?
Yeah, of course I made it up. Well, Tillium's from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, is it? Okay, Nick.
There's a whole host of science fiction resources like geranium and things that belong in different.
Can we have Chrysium and Markium?
Chrysium and Markium. Sure. Why not? You know. All right. Let's get these drones. There we go. Finally. Right. Yeah. So these vessels are going to work in tandem now, right? So that mining vessel has actually already strip mined that little asteroid. Right. Even while we were just talking, it's done it, and it can move on to the next one.
So what did it do? It blasted it with the lasers, and then
that's
the drones.
All it does. That's all it actually does. It doesn't have any drones on board. It's just a laser beast.
Oh, okay.
And its power grid is designed. You can see its reactors are all just running like crazy. It's all really designed with mining lasers in mind. So it will just sit there and scratch away at this asteroid belt. You know?
And basically, all that means is that it's just blasting off harvestable chunks of this thing.
So you can see our missions up here, like these ones. These are all about gathering Tillium for other people to manufacture FTL fuel. We can't do that in-game yet. We can't manufacture our own FTL fuel. But these resources that you can mine, there's like 4 of them in-game now. They're like the beginnings of the resource chain, you know? They're the beginnings of the automation resource chain.
Because Factorio was another big inspiration for the direction that we want Last Starship to go into, right? That conveyor belt, and we've not quite worked out how we're going to do it, but that conveyor belt start right at the beginning, because that's something that you and I have enjoyed for quite a while, actually. You know, in some of the other games that we've looked at, like building computers and things, where do you start right at the basics and then move up?
That's right. Yeah. I'm just looking around. Yes, there's a bunch of precious ore down here, which is a completely different mineral. So precious ore at the moment is sort of a useless mineral that just has economic value. It's like gold. It's like the equivalent of gold from a gameplay standpoint.
Latinum. It's
not currently gold pressed latinum. Yeah, it's not currently involved in any of the production chains. You can see we're starting to get enough for these now. So this was for 170. So we can start turning in some of these missions now, because we happen to be orbiting a colony anyway. So people will come and gather the resources that we've mined.
So that's your other ship coming in with the.
Yeah. So this vessel still has a bunch of mining lasers in the front, but I don't feel like it should. You know, it's because these just drain power from everything else. I would much rather have no mining lasers and a couple of extra drone bays at the front, so we have more drone support going on, because the drones are falling behind here, right? So I could quite happily trade that out and pick up. Oh, look, there happens to be a couple of extra drone bays there, and let's do that, and let's buy more drones as well. So if I confirm that, so you can see here we go. We're selling our first batches of Tillium ore that we've refined. So this is all, at the moment, there is no real onboard automation. It's all done by your crew. It's all done by legwork,
Right.
But partly, like we were saying, we don't really have a calling yet to support this level of automation because your crew are capable of dealing with this level of material. We're just not at the kind of scale yet that would require excessive automation.
Well, it's also because I think the crew don't really have the purpose yet. We've spoken about this, haven't we? That we want crew increasingly there's a role for them, right? Maintaining the equipment or running the equipment. I was going to say manning, peopling the equipment. So if you need your weapons officer to target your weapons, and they'll be better, they'll be more accurate or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
you have Worf, the weapons officer.
That's right. Yeah. You can
turn one, and you can turn this one in and this one. So we're slowly turning in those mining contracts as we get more materials on board. So what I've actually done is I've redirected my. Where's he gone? It's quite fast, that mining vessel as well. It's because it's so small and light, it can speed around asteroid belts quite happily.
I think this is brilliant because you really see where the bottleneck is here.
This drone collection.
This funny little open-mouthed frog dude, can just go around gobbling up the.
That's right. But the rest of our infrastructure doesn't yet keep up with.
Way
that.
behind, and so it gives you a motivator, doesn't it, to generate.
Well, I'm going to try and fix that in a second. I'm going to try and replace our forward-facing mining lasers on the main vessel with drone bays, and see if that adjusts the balance. Because the collector ship should be behind the miner ship, right? This ship should go on ahead, especially if there was more than one of them. You can imagine it going on ahead. It's also smaller, so it seems it gets hit by meteors a lot less often. It's just a smaller target. Right, so I'll just move that. It doesn't actually need to be close at all. The range doesn't make any difference. You can see its power grid is really optimized entirely for logistics. What just happened there? Oh, we just ran out of fuel. Okay, I'm glad I saw that.
So you're trading here just because there's a starbase.
This
nearby.
asteroid belt happened to be in the same place as a shipyard and a colony.
Okay.
So because there's a planet in the background, there's a colony. There's a shipyard here that isn't visualized in any way yet. And so we can buy. We're actually slightly up against it here because we are powered down and defenseless until we get some fuel. I love it when it goes wrong for you. I know. I start getting nervous because it's like, oh fucking hell, hurry up, shuttle. Jesus, this ship isn't going to be here if we take a couple of hits.
People are watching us. They don't want to watch us fail at our own game.
Yeah. I've improved this as well. Quill got a lot of the wrong ideas about whether his stuff was powered, right? So this is now telling me the reactors are short of fuel and everything else is short of power, right? The giant flashing power indicators should surely tell you there's been a power cut. But that wasn't there in the previous update, so it just wasn't as obvious. Right, hurry the hell up.
Are they going to run out of air?
They will do, yeah, eventually.
Get these people air!
The air conditioning is switched off. Luckily, there is a cabin full of air, and there's only 5 people breathing, so I think they'll be all right. There we go. So you can see our reactors are fueling up.
Spinning back up. They're too synchronized, I've told you that.
There we go. Yeah, they should probably be different. There you go. So you can see our power is back, and now every other piece of equipment will switch back on, and our batteries will start to recharge. Our guns are working again. All is right with the world. Thank God.
We've picked up a bit of damage there. What was that, a meteorite strike or something?
That was a meteorite strike, yeah. We have no means to repair ourselves. So if we bring over our main ship now, there we go. Ooh, there we go. Our main ship obviously has quite a big drone bay on board, so we can do hull repairs. So what I was going to do is I was going to install a couple of forward-facing drone bays here. Like this.
So have you got no drones at all on that?
I've got 8. I've got 4 down here. Right,
no, on the miner. On the
miner doesn't have any drones. Yes.
But maybe it could do with one just to sort of tickle it up a bit.
No, because it's always going to work as part of a fleet, right?
It's always okay.
You're never going to be soloing in this ship, because you just can't. There isn't room. You're right. I could put a couple of drone bays, but then I would have to have loads of crew on board, because the crew are currently how you satisfy loading and unloading trains. And if I have crew on board, I'll need a much bigger life support system. So this really is a specialized vessel. It's just designed for mining purposes.
Brilliant.
So you'll see that they'll now. If I just tell them to focus on repair, they'll actually fly over to the mining vessel and prioritize repairing. So they'll just patch up that exterior damage for us. So in the time it took us to do that, this mining ship is finished. So we've got a bunch of. So this is not Tillium ore. This is precious ore, right? So if I get them to go and start gathering that, we can see the beginnings of an alternative chain of resources. So we have these on board. We're now collecting precious ore. You see, we have these smelters, right?
Right.
So these things can convert a number of raw materials into more valuable, further down the chain materials. Right? So I can click on them and cycle through the different recipes. So I can turn scrap metal into metal ingots. I can turn tillium ore into refined tillium.
Right.
Or I can turn precious ore into precious metals, which is what I actually want to do.
So that's the start of.
This is the beginning, right? So you're getting raw metal off the asteroid, raw minerals. They're going into the smelter and being treated at extremely high temperature. This is a very power-intensive process, right? So this is where we want to devote the power, not mining lasers. I could see a future where the precious metals come off the drone bay and are immediately loaded via a robotic arm, are loaded onto a conveyor belt system, you know? And then that conveyor belt system shuffles those materials along to smelters, and then more conveyor belts load the raw material into your smelters. Doesn't that sound familiar?
It does.
That sounds a lot like the beginnings of Factorio's production chain, which showed up a lot in the Fail Masterclass as a repeating... Ouch. Which showed up a lot as a repeating pattern in the various attempts we've made at making a space game, you know, and then that would then be the beginning of Jesus. You know, I don't really want you to be buying FTL fuel forever and ever and ever, you know, because it's just too much. You shouldn't be rocking up at every starbase and buying shit tons of oxygen and food. You should be making that as part of your onboard processes, you know. Like self-sufficiency to me is one of the sort of mid to end game goals.
Yes.
The idea that you have a fleet and through a combination of these you're actually producing all your own FTL fuel and then distributing it, you know, and all your recycling is occurring somewhere else, and that's producing all of your food and water needs for the whole fleet, you know, and your drone network is then distributing it all throughout the fleet.
Like everything with the game,
let's get out of here.
The big world, you know, the big picture, the big story, even if I say it, is still in pieces on the floor being assembled.
Very much
but we've
so.
got a few different ways, haven't we, that it might make sense thematically to need to be self-sufficient. You know, the part of the clues in the name of the game, like last Starship, one direction is that you're always moving away from humanity's colonized systems to be your own, you know.
And even if you weren't, once your fleet passes a certain size, self-sufficiency is going to be the only realistic way to keep up, because I don't scale the availability of raw materials on anything. So there happens to be 11 boxes of bullets available for sale here, but if you've got a giant warship, you really will need to be manufacturing your own ammunition. Same for food, same for water. You just will not be able to get enough. And the deluge of unprocessed sewage and carbon dioxide, well, you know, people were talking about, like, can I vent the carbon dioxide? It's like, well, I could put a vent in the game, and I could have you vent that as a byproduct, but that would be an incredible waste, because it's basically oxygen waiting to happen, isn't it? The other thing is, while we were doing all of that, we've gone a bit further on our rating system as well, and you may have noticed that our industry rank increased while we were out there. You probably didn't notice, because it's just...
I didn't notice.
It's only reflected in this tiny set of numbers at the moment. It was actually there in the first update, but it wasn't visualized at all. But whenever you engage in combat or mining, or whenever you have any of your smelters doing any industry, your combat and industry ranks slowly tick up. And whenever you're transporting passengers or rescuing people from ships, that will be your humanitarian rating. And whenever you're doing any of the sort of FedEx type missions where you're FedExing boxes of cargo around, your logistics ratings go up. And these are inputs into the contract board now. So again, one of the things we saw Quill do, Quill 18, is right at the beginning of the game, he took a very difficult delivery mission. The destination was like 2 sectors away. It had a time limit of like 8 minutes. And it was the first ever delivery mission that he'd ever taken. And he completely failed because, you know, we didn't really know what he was doing. And that to me is a gameplay design fault, because that trader, that contract provider should not have given him that mission, because it's like, you've never done any delivery missions, you know. I don't trust you enough.
So that's everything that we've got to show you for this update. I was going to say this month, but that sets expectations, right? For this update. If you like what you see, please head over to Steam and hit the wishlist button, because it makes a big difference to us. And also like and share the YouTube video. And we'll be back soon to show you a little bit more.